Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris,
And I am Davine.
and we are both engineers working for WaterstofNet. It's a very strange word for French or English-speaking people, but when you translate it simply, it's hydrogen network. Voilà. And indeed, we are the largest Benelux ecosystem. What is the Benelux? It's our three countries: Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. It are the countries around Brussels for people from the States. Yeah, we are from around Brussels. I need the clicker. And we do four things. We are a network organization, a knowledge center. We advise governments, and we do concrete, real stuff projects. Yeah? We are founded in 2009, so we are 14 years old. We were already working in hydrogen before it was a hype. Yeah? And we have offices in the Netherlands and in Belgium, in Turnhout and Helmond. And yeah, it's all about action. We're not focused on studying, but working on action. And so for that, the first step to be able to get into action, Davine, is to create a network of companies that together can do something.
I was about to say the first step is not the Davine. It can be, but the first step is normally membership of our industry cluster. It can also go the other way around. We do first a project and then someone decides to be a member or not. But we have this industry cluster since 2016. It started as a Flemish industry cluster, but I'm happy that after a few years it was allowed to expand. Me, myself, I'm from the Netherlands. So now we are Dutch, Belgian, Luxembourgian cluster. Very proud of our one Luxembourgian member. And what we do with these is we help them develop projects. We make them meet each other. We keep them updated on the European policy, on subsidies, on all of that. So we try to help them to be aware and to be able to work together. So very often we kind of facilitate contacts between different players that might be competitors normally, or might not be able to decide on who would do the project management if they have to decide among them two. But if we can allow to write the project for them, coordinate it for them, they can anyway collaborate. And in this developing sector, it's very often still necessary to work together with your competitors. That was a nice map. You saw a little bit of focus on Flanders and the southern part of the Netherlands mostly. But this is maybe more informative because when we arrived at WaterstofNet, I think we arrived together like 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
This one was quite empty. This one was quite empty still. And I'm quite happy to see that also the end users are becoming more active, because you really need, that's the challenge, you need all of it at the same moment. So even if it's a small project, doesn't matter if it's kilotons or just a few thousand a year. It's always important to have all of them. So in whatever project we do, we try to have a balance in this. Our CEO, he doesn't like to be called that, but our boss, he is very fond of pictures. So we are giving a presentation, but it's the only one we are allowed to give. He says, no, don't make presentations, just show me a picture when you've done the project. So he's very proud of this, because in the end we're small countries. We're not like France with a lot of energy that we can produce, with small coastline in Belgium, the Netherlands a bit more, but we're not going to be the big players in producing hydrogen, maybe import. But we have a lot of technology players that are very relevant to projects and that can collaborate with French or other players. So some examples, the Borit is also here at our stand. The plates, we have hydrogen panels that produce hydrogen from ambient air, so like the light of the sun and the vapor of the air. It's a Solheid startup. We have composite vessels of Covus, of Plastic Omnium. There's a combustion engine of maritime CMB and ABC that together created first a dual fuel and now a monofuel combustion engine.
For ships.
For ships, exactly.
and vessels.
Are there some things that you would want to point out, Chris, that you're especially proud of?
This was Europe's first electrolyzer, built together with Solvay and Umicore ages ago. One of the first refuse trucks in Europe. This is the first 40-ton truck in commercial operation in Europe, which we built. It's a prototype. It's not commercially available, but it's used in commercial operations of a retailer in Belgium. There are so many things. This is a company that is building trucks, dual fuel trucks in Antwerp. They just started their workshop to produce dual fuel hydrogen diesel trucks.
Yeah, so I think also the Zifra membranes or Zifron membranes are also relevant, and e-power is also here at the end of the hall.
We also have the largest concentration of the largest hydrogen grid in kilometers of the whole of the world is concentrated in this area, because historically in the port of Antwerp and Rotterdam you have the largest concentration in Europe of production and consumption of hydrogen, albeit to date grey hydrogen, but it's really the hydrogen hotspot of Europe historically. And that makes that there is enough engineers and know-how and technicians available now to also work on the transition.
So in summary, I think it's correct for small countries to be modest, but not too modest. We should say what we have to offer. So there are a lot of collaborations possible with component suppliers or technical integrators and knowledge that is available in this region.
But Davine, we only have 20 minutes, so we have to rush.
True.
There's too much to tell, but sorry, only 20 minutes.
I will make sure to be even faster or shorter in the things I say. What do we do with this cluster? We make them meet each other every 3 months. We write a newsletter. We keep them informed, as I said. And we have working groups. Most of those are with a select group of the cluster members, those who have most interest in that topic. So there's a working group on mobility. There's a working group on policy. Where we don't so much go to Brussels to lobby. We have very good contacts with Hydrogen Europe for that. But we go to Brussels for the Flemish or Belgian government, or to The Hague for the Dutch government. So we try to support in that way. And we have also a working group on port equipment, on shipping. So we try to fix some issues there. We also have a working group in which I developed a podcast, but it's in Dutch, so I think it's a little less relevant here for you. If you are interested, so if you're a company that maybe is based in France but has activities in the Benelux area, you can contact us, we can meet you, and we can see if it would make sense to be a member of this cluster.
And more important, to build projects together.
To build projects, we don't want only sales activities. We're quite critical. You have to really have activities in the
Well, we're not selling anything, Davine. We are a non-profit organization, so we're not buying, we're not selling. We just bring companies together and make things happen.
I mean actual activities in the region as a requirement. Chris, yeah. I'm taking time from you, so go.
Oh my goodness. The next thing is projects. I will not tell everything about all the projects we do. We have 20 projects in parallel that are actually currently active by our team. We're only 13 people. But I'll have a summary of pictures on our website. You can find detailed descriptions of every project. So it's useless that I tell you here, but these are vehicle-related projects. These are infrastructure site projects. These are industrial projects. And that's our first building area domain project. Voila. And if you're interested in finding a partner outside of France or your country to work together with you on a European project, please contact us. And if you say, I miss an electrolyzer or whatever, we can find somebody in our community of 156 companies, and make sure that you can collaborate together on international projects. Yeah?
What is it that WaterstofNet does in these projects? Can you maybe explain a little bit?
It can be nothing, because the partners can say, oh, we will do it amongst ourselves. But personally, I'm running a project with 43 transport operators, 6 HRS operators of Two of them are here, Air Liquide and Total Energies, and 7 truck manufacturers. And yeah, there are many competitors amongst each other in one project, and then often they're looking for a neutral project management who has no commercial interest at all to bring all those competitors and that value chain together. So in one project, I have competitors, suppliers, and customers. And if you then say, I don't want one of the partners to manage this because there are commercial conflicts and also for confidentiality reasons. I know the secrets of all those companies and I cannot share them, but I have to make sure that the whole puzzle works. Then they turn to WaterstofNet and say, okay, can you run this project, coordinate the subsidies, and be the neutral coordinator of this project?
Yeah, I thought it might be relevant. And this part is very much related to both the project and the cluster, because we are a non-for-profit, so we can be independent, but on behalf of the cluster and based on the experience of the projects, we formulate advice to our governments. So it's mostly on the Flemish and Belgian federal level, and in collaboration with the Dutch platforms also in the Netherlands. Mostly this is, for instance, on certification, on gas grid regulation, on also on additionality, but then through the trilogues that we try to inform our national administrators about why we think there are certain issues and what would be possibilities to improve the standpoint. So this is a very vital part of our activities that has very close links to our practical experiences and to our cluster members.
Is there no slide behind?
There is. There's some paper. That's very nice. There was a lot of work put into these papers, so it's very nice that they finally made it to a slide. That one has my name on it, I think. Yes, and this one is my colleague Stefan van Laar, who is mostly responsible for the Belgian part of policy, and Isabelle François, another colleague. So yes, we regularly try to formulate advice, because it's easy to say legislation is the problem. Yes, but you have to think, and when you start thinking, it's not so easy to find the solution. So we try to find a solution with many industry cluster members with experience from different projects, and try to actually formulate an advice instead of just say, fix it, it's a problem. So that's why we also write down what we think and why.
Isn't there a next one? Oh, voilà.
Another one. Yes, this is a bit of an older slide, actually. It's before there was the official Flemish hydrogen strategy, and later even the Belgian one, that my ex-colleague, Janneke van den Broek, wrote a strategy with the industry cluster. So it was actually a bottom-up initiative. We wanted there to be a strategy. There was not yet one from the top-down part. So we made a proposal with industry saying, we think that it's feasible to have these numbers, 20 refueling stations in 2025, 50 buses, etc. We had the commitment of our industry that are actually locally grounded. We think this is feasible. What do you think, policymakers? And then later the strategy arrived. Not everything was identical to ours, but there was a lot of overlap. So it can work in both ways. That's
okay.
That's you.
Okay. And the fourth pillar is a knowledge center. We are an industry with an enormous influx of people that come from the outside because it's booming. And so we said, okay, we need to organize a kind of a base training introduction into the hydrogen world, going from the production side up to all the applications. And so we asked our members, okay, can we set up together a training curriculum given by the industry, not by academics, but given by the industry to tell each from their speciality what is electrolysis, what is the transport grid, what about heavy-duty trucks, what about aviation, and so on. And next to that, we also have, in the meantime, set up a research cluster, because we were asked by the Flemish government to make a kind of an overview next to the industry, what is happening at universities and high schools. And Voila. And this is the program of the training. We do it every year in the month of October, November. We have 6 evenings where we have the whole value chain of hydrogen being explained in detail by experts. Voila, this is what we do. We hope we can do something with you soon as a member or as a project partner from another country. Please contact us. We have a booth, 6.
No, I don't know by heart. No.
In that direction somewhere. And you can also find us on the internet. All information is there in a very detailed way. So thank you so much for your time, and lots of hydrogen to you.
Yeah. I think we even have 4 minutes for eventual questions, if there are.
But people are very busy. Questions. Yeah, questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Do you think to grow up your geographic coverage? For instance, you're working for Benelux, but maybe you would like to cover other countries, like France, that are nearby?
They're already covered. France has France Hydrogène. We don't have to replace France Hydrogène or MEDEF International. We don't have to replace them. So we're all brothers and sisters throughout Europe, and we have our European friends in Hydrogen Europe. So we have more than work enough, and have no ambition to work 7 on 7, 24 on 24.
Yeah, maybe to add, I think for projects there's no limit to us. Usually in most European funded projects it's also a requirement to have more than 2 member states in a project or partners from different member states. So we work in some projects even with Italy, with many regions, Germany. But the cluster itself, we are focusing on the Benelux. We think Hydrogen Europe does a great job at the European level, and there are other clusters in all the other regions, so it's limited to that.
Yes. Are you doing anything to integrate startups in a network right now?
There are several startups in our organization. So we have very huge global multinationals, and we have small, young startup companies, and we all treat them equal.
Okay, good to know.
Because in the end, a small startup in the end might become a unicorn, billion company. And then they will remember, aha, we will now help you back because you helped us to start. Any more question? Then you saved some time in your life. Thank you. And think about WaterstofNet if you want to do something with the Benelux. Have a nice evening or afternoon.
Thank you.